And we are back with the third segment of the GSMC basketball podcast presented by the GSMC Sports Network. And in this third segment, we are going to be talking about Luka Dončić and the possibility on him becoming the best Maverick ever after this final series is over. Now, this is going to be a huge debate because this is only the second NBA title that the Mavericks have won in their franchise's history. And the first title that they won is obviously one of the most infamous finals ever, 2011. This was when Dirk Nowitzki and the Dallas Mavericks surprised the entire world after beating the Miami Heat. They were down 2-1 in this series, and they ended up winning the next 3 games to make the series 4-2. This series is infamously known for LeBron choking. This was the only choke of his entire playoff career, and it was arguably the worst because people still talk about it to this day, and people still try to discredit LeBron just from this one series alone. So I feel like everybody knows this series all too well, and ever since then, Dirk has sort of solidified himself as the greatest Dallas Maverick to ever live, and one of the best foreign players to ever live in NBA history as well. And to play in the NBA. I can focus on the WNBA still. That's my bad. But with the fact that there was only one championship in the entire history of the Dallas Mavericks, obviously the best player on a Dallas Mavericks team that wins a title is going to be put in the conversation as one of the best Mavericks ever. And to be fair, Luka and his awards and the amount of accolades that he has already under his belt, as well as the records that he's broken already, is astonishing. Like, there were already talks about whether he was going to be the best Maverick ever before he even won a title. And I don't think anybody expected him to become this close so soon. I mean, it only feels like yesterday when he was drafted. I know he was drafted like a while ago, all the way back in, I believe it was 2019, before COVID struck and it ruined basically everything for a lot of people. And I do know that, Luka he has been one of the best playoff performers that the league has seen. Despite the fact that he lost to the Clippers 2 times in a row, a lot of people were still giving him praise for the talent that he showed. And the only thing that was missing for him was to have talent on the team in order for him to go far. And it seems like he's found that talent with Kyrie and the rest of this Maverick squad that he has going for him. Now, geez, this toothache is really, really bothering me. But is he going to be the best Maverick ever if the season concludes with the Mavericks winning a title? I think he has a really good shot, especially if he wins the Finals MVP, because he's only going to get better as the years progress. And he's already considered by many one of the best, arguably the best player in the NBA. I mean, right now he's definitely the best player in the NBA. But once that season starts, it goes between him, it goes between Giannis, it goes between Jokic, it goes between a lot of different players, and it also goes between Shai. But given how these playoffs have unfolded, it would seem like Luka Dončić is the best player in the NBA currently, and given that he is the best player in the NBA currently, I don't think that's a thing that Dirk has ever had. Like, I don't think there was anybody at that time in 2000, 2010, 2011, in between where Dirk played on the Dallas Mavericks. I don't remember anyone ever saying that Dirk was the best player in the NBA. So there was never really an argument for him being the best in the NBA. Maybe the best at his position, but never really the best in the NBA. I don't remember. And Luka having that edge over him, on top of the fact that he's also able to get triple doubles with ease, and he's able to do everything on the basketball court with ease, other than just scoring, it would seem like I feel like there's really no other argument for Luka not being the best Dallas Maverick when it's all said and done. Obviously, there's going to be a lot of people that are like, oh, give him some time because you have no idea how his career is going to develop. Well, I don't really think he's going to slow down anytime soon. So I think it's safe to say, I'm all for putting somebody at the position when I think their career is said and done, because they could only either meet those expectations or they could only get better, especially when they're playing this good for this short of a time period. I mean, we have a lot of seasons to judge off of Luka. I can't even lie. It's not like he's new to the league. So, but given that, we know what he's capable of, and I feel like that's going to be enough. If he does have that championship ring and the Finals MVP under his resume, I feel like that is definitely going to be enough to classify him as the best. Because Dirk Nowitzki, his game, like as a whole, his main gimmick was scoring. Like, he wasn't, obviously, like, as a power forward, he'd have to rebound the ball a lot. But it's not like he was one of the, like, a crazy rebounder at the center, like how you'd think. Like, obviously, he was good at rebounding, but he wasn't as good, and he was not really praised for his rebounding. And he definitely wasn't praised for his passing. That for sure. He was not known as a passer in the NBA. And, well, granted, he passed the ball, but it's like he didn't rack up that many assists. That's why I say he's not really known as a passer. But with that in mind, and like with how well-rounded Luka Doncic's game is, I think it's like it becomes really difficult to make an argument that he's not the one of the best Dallas Mavericks players to ever live if he wins this title. Now, this is a big if he wins, because he's going up against. Oh, another thing that needs to be considered is the team that he had to go up against in order to win the finals. Like, this Boston Celtics team is no joke. They won 60 games, and he is a 5th seed in the Western Conference. So I know that the gap between, like, the 1 and the 5 seed is only a couple of games, but, like, aside from that, like, being the 5th seed and beating the number 1 seed in the Eastern Conference is ridiculous, especially when it comes against Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. He literally just won the Eastern Conference Finals MVP, so I don't want anyone saying, like, oh, he wasn't All-NBAs, but he won the Eastern Conference Finals MVP. He won it for a reason, and not to mention Drew Holiday and Derek White, they made the All-NBA second team defensive, so it's a lot that's stacked up against them. The Celtics, they have the defense and they have the offense to be able to beat the Mavericks in this series. If he's able to overcome that, then I feel like it's going to be very, very difficult to keep him out of that discussion as the best Dallas Maverick ever. That's really all I have on this third segment. It's a lot shorter than the last few segments because I'm more excited for the game that's going to happen later than I am for whether or not Luka is going to be the best, whether he's not going to be the best, because it's been a while since we've been able to talk about NBA basketball, like the games and like the actual games as they go on. I really like talking about the games and like what goes on, what happens. I watch every single one of them, and really, it's like I'm just really excited for the series to go down. Like, I mean, Boston versus the Celtics, like Boston versus the Celtics. What kind of logic is that? Kyrie versus the Celtics. If my English can actually if my English can actually sound like English. Kyrie, obviously, he has the beef between the Celtics, so really, I'm going to look forward on this series and how well he's going to perform in the Garden. And speaking of Kyrie, he had some comments to make about LeBron. That's going to be my second segment. It's going to be about how they miss each other, this, that, and the other. I'll be right back after this short break. Be sure to stay tuned for that segment.
For the best and latest podcasts available anywhere, go to the podcast app on your cell phone and type in GSMC to access free content-rich podcasts on health and wellness, book reviews, sports, entertainment, relationships, social media, movies, technology, finance, and even weird news. Subscribe and download the GSMC Podcast Network's family of shows, available everywhere podcasts are found.